Just when I thought that my life and my collecting habits couldn't get weirder, this guy happens. This is the Transformers Prime Beast Hunters Deluxe Class Soundwave with Ravage. And he's going to be the focus today in the latest GotBot True review. Welcome one and all back to the channel. I'm your host, your very humble host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, and me everywhere. Spend some time on the channel, see what it is that catches your interest. And check out Universal Collision Season 2. I'm working on that now. I guess actually I want to say welcome back, and I want to say welcome to a bunch of new people. I've been getting some fantastic new support on the channel from all over the world. It's really important now, and I really appreciate it. I can't name everybody, but you know, here's a few: Stop Motion Starter, Jeffrey Hammond, Ulster Magnus, Spider Flyguard, Engineer Hoist, Piano Tutorial, E Before I, Video Reviews, and so many more. Each and every one of you is important to me, and I just wanted you to know that. Hopefully I entertain you just a little bit. And this is Soundwave. Now, not the way I remember the guy, and not the way a lot of people remember the guy. You see, as a kid, I loved the Transformers franchise. I was absolutely enamored with it. And as I grew up, I was still a fan. Even in my late teens, early 20s, I was sort of a fringe fan. I mean, by then I had University and Life, but that was the Beast Wars era, and I'm not gonna, I got to admit that I enjoyed the show and watched it. But like everybody, I kind of, got out of it for a long time. And around 2012, I felt like I was old enough that I didn't care anymore if people, judged me for enjoying what I enjoy. I say life is too short, like what you like, folks. And I happened to come across this guy. So the bigger guy here is the Transformers Fall of Cybertron Soundwave. I looked at him in full in episode 106 a long time ago. I really didn't know what I was doing. I barely know what I'm doing now. But I saw him and thought, wow, that's what I remember from my childhood. Now, it's not exactly. It's certainly stylized, and this is based on the video game of the same name. But if you ascribe to the belief of the whole kind of aligned continuity, there's a series of novels, the War for Cybertron, Fall for Cybertron games, Transformers Prime, and most recently Robots in Disguise, that are really supposed to be all part of the same continuity. Which means that this big guy, who gives me those good feels and that nostalgia, is actually supposed to be the exact same incarnation of the character as the smaller deluxe class fellow. I don't see the resemblance personally. But okay, when we're talking about giant alien robots that change into things, are we really going to be a stickler about reality too much? Probably not. Nevertheless, this was the guy that got me back into it, and I think I've become kind of prolific ever since. But let's put our attention where it should be, and that of course is on the smaller deluxe guy. As a matter of fact, our attention shouldn't quite be here yet, because I mentioned that this guy comes with Ravage, who is one of his chess minions. Of course, we all know traditionally Ravage was a cassette tape that went inside the chest of Soundwave. Now he's not that. He's more like a piece of chest armor. Now this mold was used earlier on without all of the spiky bits, and I believe that version came with Laserbeak, and if I'm not mistaken, I think both that version and this version can either incorporate Laserbeak on the chest or Ravage, so it's kind of cool to have both of those minions. But that being said, if you have both of them, it means you technically have 2 of this mold, and I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. I mean, I get it, they had a strange design to work with, and I think they made it work pretty good, all things considered. But I don't think it was the best design. And while collectors might appreciate this, I don't know if it would be fun for kids. I mean, is a kid going to enjoy this and have fun playing with it? Are they even going to understand what it is? Because I barely do. Nevertheless, there's an argument to be made that it would be cool to have both chest minions. In this case, you can, of course, remove them. And we're going to do that now so that we can focus on Ravage for just a second. How do you do that? Well, his hind legs are kind of up over the shoulders of Soundwave. They're in little slots, divots there. But the part that really secures them on is a little black peg that's down on Ravage that connects into the tummy of Soundwave. So we take this and take it off, and this is really the chest armor. And it's these hind legs that go up over the shoulders, and this little peg right here is what goes into the tummy. So let's focus on Ravage for just a second. And here we have everyone's favorite chest minion, or maybe not, because there's a bunch of these guys, but I like Ravage. This is certainly stylized, there's no doubt about it. And to transform him, all you really do is bring the hind legs together and the front legs down, and there you go. You have Ravage in his Black Panther form. Of course, I don't really understand why he has brown legs. And the articulation is also very odd. The back legs can move out to the sides, but they can't move forward and back. The front legs can move forward and back, but not out to the sides. And in fact, when you move them forward and back, they move as one piece. So I guess they're on the same hinge. I do like the silver detailing on the back and the neck, head, I guess, but the brown really sort of throws me off in terms of this being a Ravage. Now, I'm not going to score his articulation or his transformation or his paint apps. We're going to do that totally in conjunction with Soundwave. But this guy is very simple. It's a nice nod, but he's very, very simple. It is what it is. Let's get him back where he belongs on Soundwave's chest and go on from there. Now that we have Soundwave back in the picture, let's get his minion back on his chest. It's not really hard to do. You do have to kind of adjust the legs a little bit to get them in the correct position. In there and in there. And slot him into the tummy. No problem. In terms of paint apps, this mold was used earlier with kind of this pale blue that's sort of used on the forearms and legs here for pretty much the whole body. It was close to that shade at least, and that looked very animation accurate. I would give that thing about a good 8.5. This guy has a peculiar mix of blues, of 2 shades, yellows, some paint, and some yellow plastic. Browns, he has a yellow visor instead of a red visor. There's a lot of liberties taken here, and I appreciate that it's creative. I appreciate that it's eye-catching, but it's definitely not accurate. No, and for that reason, I have to give it a 4. I kind of dig it, but I have to give it a 4. The articulation, well, again, that is sort of effective, everything is there, but we're dealing with really thin pieces of plastic. I mean, you can see for yourself just how spindly the guy is, and I think that kind of makes him feel more delicate than most people would like. Certainly more delicate than I would like. But in this mode, well, we have a head that can go left and right and up and down. I appreciate that. We have shoulders that can go all the way around. And I guess they can sort of butterfly forward like that, you know. You can do the whole muscle pose, like the whole muscle pose. He sort of has a bit of a bicep swivel, but not really. He does have a deep elbow, 90 degrees, if not a little bit better. His arms, in terms of out to the side, can really only go out to about there, like nothing major, nothing to get excited about. He does have a waist, so that's cool. I guess I should mention this. This black piece here is technically his forearm and hand, so I suppose he can take his arm across his body, I suppose. By the way, you'll notice that there's a hole here. That's for his accessory to peg into. I don't know where that's gone. This isn't mine. This belongs to the Scraplets. And that thing got lost a long time ago. But I'll tell you now, it was pretty awful anyway and never really used. It does not add anything to this guy, at least in my humble opinion. Maybe you loved it. I don't know. The legs. They can go forward well enough. They can go back. We have a knee that it's not great, but if you press it, you can get close to 90 degrees, I suppose. We have a bit of a thigh swivel. The toes can tilt forward and back, and the heel spur sections can move all over the place. Here's the thing, it's not that his articulation is bad. It's not. But I don't know if you would particularly call it good either. Can he get in some dynamic poses? Yes! As a matter of fact, I'll show you one. Actually, before I do that, I do want to correct something very quickly. He does have a dedicated bicep swivel. Well, I'm saying bicep swivel. It's really kind of below his elbow. But this yellow piece here is on a mushroom peg. It is dedicated. I'll say this too. The way the elbows are attached here with this little black piece, sometimes they do like to pop off. Okay, dynamic pose as promised. Okay, so maybe it's not super duper dynamic, but come on, what do you want? It's overall it works. I mean, as weird as some of it is, as thin as some of it is, overall it works. It's all there. And for that, I gotta give the guy an 8 for articulation. So we have a 4, we have an 8. Right now, the guy's scoring a 6. Better than I thought he was gonna get, to be honest with you. Let's jump in to his transformation and see how that affects things. So if you know me, you know that I like to do the easy things first. Now you can do the conversion leaving Ravage on the chest or taking him off. I'm going to attempt at least to do it leaving him on. He holds pretty well. I mean, with these two rear paws going down into slots and that tab on the tummy, he holds all right, but you can certainly knock him off. We begin by folding the forearms and hands in. They're not good, but let's get them out of the way now. Then you straighten the arms up, and if you look at the shoulder, you see just next to his Decepticon symbol here, there's like an indent. That's where this section of the arm is going to basically slot into, just like that. And over here, we do the same thing. And it slots in like that. So now we have, you know, 2 wing arms, if that seems good. I don't think it does, but you know, that's it for the arms. They're done. We can open up his back. His entire, maybe I should turn him around for this. This entire backpack opens down, and then you can push his head in. In fact, you have to push his head all the way back. And then you can bring the back piece up again. And now we have that part done. It's effective, I guess. I don't think this is the most attractive here, but it's all right. Now, the legs. Again, not particularly hard, just a little fiddly because of the small pieces we're dealing with. Fold up the toes. And take all of the heel spur sections and bring them down. All these heel spur sections are black, soft, rubbery plastic. They do go together, but it can be a bit of a chore to tab them in. I suggest tabbing the legs together first. And you have a series of pegs and slots on the legs, so you can squeeze them together. just like that, and it went really better than I thought it was going to, because maybe I spoke too soon. See, those nose piece sections do not like to go together. Give me a second, I'm going to get these nose piece sections together and then explain to you why I said that this went better than I thought it was going to. So now that I've got the nose cone together, here's why I said it went better. Because a lot of times, to put these pieces together at the front, I find I have to use my teeth. I haven't got any teeth marks in the soft rubbery plastic, but I don't think that was a good choice, personally. In this case, I was actually able to get the entire legs together and this together with my hands. That's amazing for me. I'm sure it's easy for some people, but not so much for me. Now we have, however, the entire fuselage of the plane done. We have two wings left that aren't in the right position. So how do we get them in the right position? Well, and I've been having issues with the arms coming on, the shoulders coming on tab, but basically you should have the shoulders locked in, and they do lock in. It's just they weren't doing it for me today for whatever reason. Nevertheless, they are locked in there now. So you unlock them and bring them down this yellow hinge in here, and it brings down the whole arm and this brown piece. We do the same on the other side. And you'll notice that there's a pin right here for this brown piece, and the whole yellow piece is I guess it's separate. You can bring the yellow piece all the way down and all the way down. What you basically need to do now is reposition the arms so that they come up over this brown piece. Now, that's a little bit of a chore. Basically, there's a hinge in here on the shoulder, and you need to angle the arm so that it comes up like that. Take this and angle the arm so it comes up like that. When you position it, you're trying to get it out in front of this little section right here, this little piece right here, and then straighten it up. That's kind of your guide. Once you got this much done, you'll notice that you have a little blue tab up on the top of that shoulder, and a little blue tab up on the top of that shoulder. They go into slots on the hips. The slots are in the brown plastic, but they're on the hips. So you bring that down and you slot it in the hip, and you bring this one down and you slot it in the hip, and then boom, in the end, here you have a really interesting alt mode. A drone plane, I do believe, is what it's supposed to be. And you'll notice that I did it with Ravage in the whole time. So here we are with this very interesting alt mode. There's no doubt about it. The conversion scheme is not really hard. It's just that we're dealing with such thin pieces of plastic that sometimes it can get a little fiddly and frustrating. Except for the nose cone. That should have been like a more solid plastic in my estimation. It looks cool. It's definitely creative and unique and different. I give it that. And truth is, the conversion isn't too bad. It's just the pieces you're dealing with are a bit of a nuisance. So I'm going to score that at about an 8. The guy was getting a 6. Right now, overall score for the figure, he's about a 7. Is he an ideal Soundwave? No. Is he an ideal Transformers Prime Soundwave? No. But he is definitely going to be eye-catching and interesting for those who have him. And for that, I gotta give some respect. Anyway, that's it for this guy. Again, thanks for dropping by. Thanks for giving me some of your very valuable time and supporting me. It means the world more than you know. Hit that subscribe button, and as always, I thank you for dropping by, and I look forward to the next time that you and I get together for another visit right here inside the videos.